Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome back to Three Words Movies with Three Words or More Month. Now I'm reviewing a comedy from the '90s that stars the late, her career is gone now. She's a retired actress, Cameron Diaz. She's still alive, she's just not acting anymore. And this is one of her biggest hits after The Mask. There's Something About Mary. The funniest movie of the decade. Well, that's a kind of a stretch, but it is a funny movie for what I have seen already. And the thing is that the movie, yeah, it has a lot of funny moments in it. Like there's the cast is very likable. Cameron Diaz is beautiful as always. Ben Stiller's really good. Matt Dillon is the total douchebag in the movie when you buy it. And there's a lot of good. Like the Farrelly brothers, they're hit and miss for me. I've never seen Dumb and Dumber. I've heard it's a classic, but I didn't see the Three Stooges movie from 2012. I heard it was horrible. One of them wrote movie 43, one of the segments in that. That's horrible. So they could be hit or miss with me. But this one, I get there. I get some of the humor. I did. There were some jokes I didn't care about, but I'll get to that. Let me read the synopsis. Filled with endless laughs and unbelievable sight gags, this cheerfully crude and way over the line romantic comedy is a gut busting blast. Still suffering from a high school crush on Mary, Cameron Diaz, the nerdy, angst driven Ted tracks her down 13 years later after high school with the help of a sleazy private investigator, Pat Healy, Matt Dillon. But after one look at Mary, Healy decides he wants her for herself, and soon the two men are engaged in an outrageous all out battle for Mary's affections. That's not true. The two of them do get into a fight, but there's also another guy that has a crush on her too, Lee Evans, who he's horrible in this movie. Like he's one of the really characters that you could have cut out, and it would have been much better if you did. But yeah, that's the synopsis. It's a sweet. The love story is fine. It doesn't bother me. It's not an unmanly movie. Now the film does have its issues, and no, Cameron is not one of them. I think she has some good comedic timing. And the scene with the dog is pretty funny. But yeah, the film is too long, guys. It says the film is about it's almost 2 hours. It's 119 minutes. That is too long for any comedy. Even without the extended cut, the movie's about like an hour and 45. It's still too long. You could have cut all the subplots out. There's a subplot with I think Cameron Diaz's brother or something that he's mentally challenged. I'm not going to say retarded because I don't want to say that word. I don't want to offend Josh. But he's like very slow, and then when you take something away from him, he starts to have an attack. That could have been cut out. You could have cut out Lee Evans. He's like first he has like a British accent, and then he has a Southern accent, or he has an American accent, and he has like these walking sticks. He's like a handicap. You could have cut him out. I think the film just it has some padding in the middle that just There is a funny scene where Ben Stiller, I almost said Ben Affleck, he's zipping up his pants and he gets his fly stuck in his balls. That was funny. And then there's like, holy shit! That's a great scene. But other than scenes like that, Keith David is fine in the movie. He's in the film too. But like I said, there's some subplots you could have cut out of the movie. There's a scene where Matt Dillon is talking to a bunch of guys that could have been cut out. I know you have to have character development, but there's some scenes that just go nowhere. The scene where he jizzes, and he's like, "What is that hair gel?" And then Cameron puts it in her hair, and like that's disgusting. I don't like that. I don't like gross out humor. Excuse me, not like that. Granted, that's like one of the only gross out scenes in the movie. There's nothing with like there's no fart jokes or anything, but still, the Farrellys always got to put something gross like that in their movies. And I'm like, you don't need that. It's not funny. Oh, a guy has jizz on in a girl's hair. It's not funny. It's just disgusting. But it is an R-rated movie. You get to see Cameron, I think, like side boobs, so you get some beautiful women in the movie. It has a sweet story. I don't like this. I like the story. I mean, they kept me invested. It has a heart to it, so it is an R-rated movie, but it has a heart. But like I said, there's a lot of side gags that go nowhere. You could have easily cut them out. And the film is over 20 years old. I think it still holds up for what it is, and it's one of the better Farrelly Brothers movies that doesn't have Jim Carrey in it. But like I said, they're hit and miss for me. They could either make something really funny or really disgusting, like movie 43. One of them did that, and the Three Stooges. Oh, they have to have piss jokes. No, that was Stooges never needed toilet humor to be funny. This didn't need it either. I'm like the scene with him, zipping up his nuts. That was funny because this the reaction of the fireman. That's funny. And they said, "Look at what this numbnuts did." I'm like that. Yeah, it's hilarious. And they only show like the side of his junk. They don't show his penis. Thankfully, I don't want to see Ben Stiller's junk. Ben Stiller like is very likable in the movie. He's the guy with the braces right here. This is Ben Stiller when he was young, so he's got really good comic timing. And I'm glad he didn't do a ton of these movies. He did a lot of comedies, but some of them are good, some of them are bad. I like the Night at the Museum films, the first two. The third one is ass. I hated that. But this one, I liked his early work. And Cameron is always beautiful. I wish he would come back. Wish she didn't retire. Her last good movie was like Night and Day. Her last live action movie. Her last good animated film was Shrek 4. No matter what anybody says, I like that movie because it ended Shrek fine. You don't need a reboot. And like my beautiful Brie right there, who is the new Cameron Diaz, a blonde that's actually a good actress and is attractive. That's always a plus for me. And it's a movie that, thank God, did not get any sequels or crappy prequels or remakes. Don't remake this movie, guys. You're not going to do it better. This is a standalone comedy that works. It's just a little long. Some stuff you could have cut out, and some of the gross out humor just didn't do it for me. But I do like this film. And the Farrelly brothers, you have to be in the right. Chris Elliott's also in the movie. I forgot about him because I haven't seen the movie in over a year. But he's fine in the film. But anyway, you got to be in the right mood set to see a movie like this. This is not just a Hallmark movie. No, God, no. There's a lot of like raunchy comedy, a lot of curse words, and stuff that a date might not like. So, but if you see it by yourself, you could get some laughs. And it's a fun movie. It came in this set that I got. The other two movies, I changed them because it was originally Inner Shoes and Life Less Ordinary, but I didn't care for those. I threw those away. The other two I put as The Sweetest Thing and Night and Day because they're also with Cameron Diaz. So, and she's a good actress. I don't know why more people didn't give her a chance in the 2010s, especially. Millennials would have loved her in the 90s. Like I saw her in The Mask, and I was hooked on her ever since because she's just beautiful. And I like her voice, I like her eyes and her face, and everything else about her, and just long hair, short hair. She's very likable in most films that she's done. In recent stuff, no. And Annie, that was horrible. The Counselor and Bad Teacher, no, that was just horrible roles for her. I blame the writers for giving her such crap scripts before she retired. But anyway, she was good in her prime, so hopefully Brie doesn't fall into that trap in a couple years. I hope she delivers more that Cameron couldn't in the most recent years. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. I hope you do see There's Something About Mary. If you're old enough to see it, if you're over 17, you'll be able to watch it and you'll get some laughs. And it's a 90s film, so just like when Captain Marvel took place in the 90s, this film also takes place in the 90s. There were no cells, there was no texting, there was no Facebook or nothing. It was just a different time. But anyway, see you in the next review, guys.